This recording will provide an overview of Serena Release Automation, or SRA. SRA provides the ability to automate the process of delivering and configuring your applications into target environments within the stages of your software development lifecycle. SRA's automation framework allows you to remove the manual, labor-intensive steps within your application deployment process and improves the efficiency, repeatability, security, and traceability of your release and deployment processes. SRA allows you to define the component structure of each of your multi-tiered applications and graphically defines the processes required to deploy each tier using a simple drag-and-drop interface and automation steps. Here we are viewing the environments for our example Clarius Online application. The environments we see listed, development and integration, allow us to define the stages, or path to production, that our application takes as it moves through our SDLC. We can see that for this application, we have 3 components defined, and for each environment, we can see what version of each component has been deployed. Environments also allow us to define properties that can be used during a deployment process, such that the component version deployed into development may leverage different properties as the same component version deployed into integration. Component versions represent artifacts or deployable objects, and components can be configured to pull versions from a variety of common version control and build management solutions. Component versions can be imported manually from within SRA, or can be configured to be imported automatically based upon such actions as a commit made within a version control repository, or a successful build from a continuous integration tool such as Jenkins. When deploying into environments, SRA allows you to define whether components can be deployed separately or if they need to be grouped together within a snapshot. Snapshots define specific versions of components that make up an application. This model allows you flexibility and support for situations where you may want to allow deployments at the component level for lower level environments such as development, while enforcing snapshot behavior at stages such as integration testing and beyond. Within our example application, we can see that we have different component versions within the development and integration environments. Next, we will demonstrate how we can take a snapshot of the component versions within development and then deploy that snapshot into the integration environment. To create a new snapshot, we'll go to the Snapshot tab and click the Create Snapshot button. For our demo, we'll use a name of Demo Snapshot and click the Save button to create our new snapshot. The new snapshot is created and the component version screen is displayed. As this is a new snapshot, we currently have no component versions. We can either add specific component versions to the snapshot using the Add Versions link, or we can copy the contents of an environment. In our case, we want to snapshot the contents of Deb, so we'll use the Copy from Environment option. When the Copy dialog appears, we'll select Dev from the drop-down list and click Save to populate the snapshot component versions. We can now see that the snapshot has component versions, and by viewing the snapshot dashboard, we can see a graphical view of which component versions that are contained within the snapshot exist within each of our environments. We can also preview what servers and components are potentially impacted by deploying our new snapshot to integration. We can view this impact in the context of resources or servers that will be impacted, or within the context of the component. Here we can see that deploying the snapshot to integration would impact 2 of our integration servers, and if we look at the component context, we can see deployment impacts 2 components. Next, we'll deploy the snapshot to integration by requesting the deployment process. Once started, we can see the deployment screen where we can watch the deployment to integration complete. SRA leverages an agent on each target server for deployments, which are responsible for running the deployment process for each component. Let's look at the configuration for the application deployment process for the app component to see more details. Here we can see the individual process steps that are performed when deploying our application component, as well as the success or failure of each of those steps. Each of the steps has additional information such as command output, errors, and property values used during the deployment process. Next, let's look at how these processes are defined. Here we see the graphical process designer within SRA. This easy-to-use drag-and-drop interface allows us to graphically define the processes to be used in order to deploy each component. SRA automation plugins provide the out-of-the-box functionality for operating system, middleware, database, network, and cloud environments that the deployment process interacts with. In summary, SRA provides organizations the ability to model and automate their application and component deployment processes to ensure repeatable, secure, and efficient application deployments. For more information, please visit www.serena.com.